Hey, before you start the podcast episode, I just want to lay out a couple terms and conditions that you're going to have to follow in order to watch this show. The first one is go ahead and follow so you never miss another episode of the podcast ever again. The second one is share this episode with a friend who might find value in what I said or what a guest spoke about. And the third one is go ahead, if you haven't already, write a review for the podcast. It's one of the only ways that this podcast gets shown to other people and we get to grow the show organically. And without further ado, let's get you into the next episode of Not Another Podcast. I hope you enjoy. Oh my god. Hold on. Wait, we need this. So, just preliminary stuff on this microphone. Audio Technica, that's the front. Not that. That's the front. That's the front. So you talk like into that side. Into that side. No. You're talking into the back right now. It says back on it. I gave you a front and you turned it away from you.
I thought you said, well, when you said front, I was like, okay, so I'll face that towards the camera.
No. Front, like that's these are not omnidirectional. Or they are omnidirectional.
Gotcha.
They're not both directional.
Gotcha.
But it's both directional.
Do we do a
Okay,
Celcius crack on the microphone?
Wait, yeah, we do. I can't.
Want them to hear this?
Wait, I can't get this.
Oh, you're trying. I see what you're trying to do.
I can't get it.
Are you doing okay?
No!
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?
No, I'm not. Hold on, wait. Get to tap under there. I'm gonna close this so we're not disturbing anybody else when I scream and tear. All right,
wait.
here we go.
Minor.
What did you do?
Minor, not full.
Minor. She said that was a minor fuck up. It's okay. All right.
I can't believe that this is how this is starting off. This is great.
And here we go. Yes,
Cheers.
ma'am.
I don't know anybody else who appreciates Celcius as much as I do.
Oh my god. It's not.
If someone at Celcius gets to watch this or listen to this, can you please
sponsor me?
Please sponsor us.
Me and her. Both of us.
Leave it at me. I was like, okay. All right, fine.
It's like,
fine.
you selfish bastard. No.
Pretty much.
Oh, it's not an appreciation. It's a cult. That's what that is. I love it so much.
Yes.
Bro, it's incredible.
Very much so. Very much
You know,
so
it
cult.
fuels me through all of my creative endeavors. You know, I almost considered cracking one open last night because I was open. I was open. I mean, very. But like, I was up until about 3 a.m. last night editing pictures. That was rough. I'm also gonna silence my phone and possibly throw it across the room.
To put it on
Not that I can do much more damage, but like, you know, it's
Do Not
fine.
Disturb.
That's a fantastic idea.
Because Google's trying to tell me that I need to be at the podcast in 15 minutes, but guess what? I'm already here.
We're already here, boy.
I'm ahead of schedule.
We're all ahead of schedule.
Actually, no, I'm not.
Scheduling
I
has
was
been an
late
absolute
by 7 minutes, so it's...
Scheduling has been an absolute cluster these last 2
Yes.
weeks. Having to figure out and get with people and sudden changes of plans and
It's life.
It's fantastic.
It's life.
Welcome to being a creative.
Where your schedule is just...
Is not a schedule.
It's not existing.
It's
just,
whatever is.
It's your day. Your day just rolls and you go with it and you're just like...
Your schedule is minute to minute, not
Literally.
planned, not advanced.
I almost tried to take a drink of the Celcius from the microphone. So... If you just hear me, like, breathing, it's because I don't know how to use my hands.
I'm dead. I'm gone. This is... I don't want to know what's going to happen when this actually kicks in.
So how is it, by the way? Triple vibe.
Oh, my God. It is absolutely incredible.
So this is going to be a podcast just solely about Celcius or actually about creative?
100% about the creation of Celcius. No, I'm kidding. It's not about origin story.
That was a good response.
That was a fantastic response. I appreciate it. I thought of it myself.
God bless America.
He's working on it.
I need to set that down. I'm going to spit it. Oh my
God.
Jeez.
Yep, it's okay, bro. So
it's fine.
For those of you that are listening for the first time, or watching for the first time if you're watching on this, or listening, I'm going to stop now. My name is Che. I am apparently now hosting a podcast. That's a new thing to me and you, apparently. I apologize in advance, except I'm not sorry at all. So we're here talking with Miss Hayley, and she does creative shit. I do creative shit, and I figured it would be cool to sit down on a couch and talk about the creative shit that we do. I thought that would be a fantastic idea. So if you want to take a second and introduce yourself, what you do, why you do it, and I don't know, maybe a 2-hour backstory. Ish, you know, that's about the average we're going on here. But if you want to make it 3, by all means, go ahead. Like,
I mean, at this rate, you're probably right.
Everybody just went down to check the length of the episode. Like,
they're like, okay, so I'm going to skip, and I'm going to like, you know how when you turn your phone sideways and you double tap.
Oh, yeah,
15
but
seconds? But they need to do it for like 20 minutes.
Right, and every time it like multiplies, yeah.
Yes.
But like everybody just went down to check the length of the episode. I can almost guarantee that. They were like, how long is
Right.
this? Oh, okay, got it.
So anyways, off that rabbit hole, my name is Hayley. I'm actually a graphic designer from Bradenton, Florida. I went to school for graphic design, and I'm finally being able to pursue my career as a graphic designer.
Finally, Publix didn't hire you as a freaking graphic designer? That's
I
unfortunate.
actually tried, but
Wait, no way.
I did.
You pitched it?
I did.
Ah,
I actually
they
did
said
go
no,
to
didn't they?
corporate. I went to corporate and I had an interview there.
No way.
And it was actually great. I had a great interviewer. They just went with somebody who had more experience, which is understanding. So here I am trying to get my experience.
Experience. I have a very interesting relationship with that term. Hate it so much.
They're like, we want you to have
It
5 years
sucks
of
for,
experience,
like-
but we're going to pay you like 25 cents an hour.
25 cents, bro. That escalated. Jesus Christ.
Not actually, but it's what it feels like. It's
Yeah.
all right.
No, and even the people that are like, we loved you to have like experience. It's like, I'm 18. Well, that's too bad. Why didn't you do extracurriculars?
That word.
Wow.
Words are good.
For
Words are good.
like, I don't know, the entirety of your school career. I don't know. It's like when you tell somebody at like an interview, it's like, hey, I'd like to work here. They're like, oh, it's okay. Don't worry about anything you learn in school. You're not going to need it here. And then they ask you for your credits, and you're like, well, I didn't graduate from college. Well, you're not qualified to work here. Like, what do you want from
Welcome
us?
to life.
People.
This is how it goes.
Bro, creatives are...
If you were in high school, good luck. That's all I have to say.
I was expecting a way deeper sentiment.
No. Just good luck.
Oh my God, yeah. So if you're getting through high school, like, if college is in the plans for you,
That's
so
okay.
like, let's go down that rabbit hole because you said you went to college.
I did go to
for it.
college.
You went to college for it or college in general?
College for graphic design.
For graphic design.
Yes.
Okay. And now your graphic design, with what you do you actually like draw on stuff? Would you consider yourself also a digital artist on top of a graphic designer? What exactly does a graphic designer entail versus a digital artist versus a just like a designer versus down there?
There's
so,
a lot that goes into all that. So I would say it's kind of hard for me to explain without going into super ginormous details about that.
I'm all for it.
So graphic designers, I feel, are more of I'm trying to figure out how I want to word this. Is part of this going to be cut? Or is it just going to go straight through?
It's pretty much just straight through, but have
Okay,
a blast.
that's fine. That's fine. I just wanted to...
Video is going to be cut. Audio is just going to be pretty much rip and tag and go.
Okay. So graphic designers, I would say they offer a more variety of services. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
I would
Gotcha.
say as far as like they can do web design, digital illustrations. I feel like graphic design is just a term that can really define a large group of
If you work in the
designing
digital
creatives.
area of visual arts.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. All right. Perfect.
You are going to find out that I'm not good with words. My vocabulary is about as good as a
It's okay.
12-year-old.
I have a massive vocabulary, and yet half the time somehow can't manage to utilize it, and I stutter. So
I stutter too.
fantastic.
This is going to be a podcast entirely of
Here
stuttering.
we go.
On top of that, with caffeine. So I'm
gonna cry.
on level 100.
Just staring at that wall over there. What did you? I looked over, and she was like,
I was really
like,
trying to think about where I was going with that, and it did not go well. This is usually what happens to me.
This is fantastic. So you went to college to do that, and what made you decide, like, where was like that turning point for you that you were like, yeah, working on a tablet, that's cool. Like, where was that? What was that type of deal?
So when I went to school for graphic design, so I only went for 2 years. I got my associates.
Gotcha.
I did not get my bachelor's
Nice.
in graphic design because I was like, let me just figure out what I can do with 2 years, and if I need to go back for my other 2 years, then I can do so then. Save your money.
Yeah.
Save your money.
Bro, YouTube, the best college out there.
YouTube!
Particularly for
Yes!
creatives.
Particularly for creatives, YouTube is your best friend. And I do not utilize it enough, but I've been doing better recently with utilizing YouTube because I've been learning so much off of there for free.
YouTube isn't your friend. He's like that cousin that like you can't separate yourself from at family reunions. Other way. You tried. It's okay. Again,
I'm
it
holding
says
this
back.
backwards.
It says back on the
I know,
microphone.
I'm trying.
I watched
I'm
you
trying.
say it. Turn it around.
I'm new here. This is my first day. I can actually say that and mean
It's okay. I just work here. No. Oh man. So, at what point, like, was it a high school thing? Were you always like kind of artsy fartsy, or were you like, I'm gonna do a civil engineering? Ha!
So-
Never mind. Jokes on me.
So
Like,
what I
was that
did-
Turn?
In high school, I was really involved with photography. So I actually got a camera, picked it up, and I was super involved and super passionate about photography.
Freaking love it.
So with that, I was actually put into connection with another local creative in my county. His name is Ben Johnson Creative. Hi, Ben. You've taught me a lot of what I know, and he's the reason why I'm a creative today.
No
because
way.
he pushed me with my photography, and he taught me videography as well. And when I asked him, I really asked him about some advice as far as going to college. I almost went to college for photography.
Oh,
and
nice.
he suggested...
Don't do that. Sorry, go ahead.
If you do that, it's okay. We don't judge. But he suggested to add another service, so to say, and to find something else that I could pair with photography. So for me, it was graphic design because when I was little, I was always the kid drawing everything. But
Nice.
I wasn't necessarily the best. So I went to college for it. And here I am. I've blossomed.
Nice. Now, was college like where you blossomed, or did you like start blossoming before, or did you take what you learned in college and then kind of like grew on it yourself afterwards?
I think I definitely blossomed after college. I think I took everything I knew and applied that to what I wanted to be on top of other research and other people that I followed and got inspired by to make me the creative that I am today. So it definitely gave me a lot of the knowledge that I needed to know. I wouldn't say that, I mean, I can't say this for sure because I'm sure there's probably some people out there who are solely self-taught graphic designers, and to you, I praise you. But it really taught me a lot of what I needed to know in order to be a good graphic designer and how to design good designs.
Gotcha. And what is, you mentioned in there, you know, like trying to find exactly what you wanted to be or get you to where you wanted to be. What is what you want to be? What are some of like your ultimate goals? Because right now, you're designing graphics. I think you recently just posted something on your social media about getting to work with a brewery?
Yes.
Something like that?
I am designing a label for a brewery up in Michigan Not
Yo,
Michigan, I'm
that's
sorry,
awesome.
Maryland. Let me correct myself, Maryland.
That's awesome.
It's
How'd they
called,
find you?
10 Ike Brewing. So how it actually worked out was my mom's friend, whose name is Nikki, she's the co-founder of 10 Ike Brewing.
Gotcha.
I reached out to her and just asked, hey, do you have any need for any beer label designs? Do you already have a graphic designer?
Yeah.
I really am trying to get involved with
Hustle.
the craft beer designing.
It's such a fun culture.
I'm trying to put words together and I can't do it. I'm
The Glug Glug bottles. We'll go with that one.
the Glug Glug bottle
The Glug
designer.
Glug bottles, yeah.
I like that title.
It's fantastic.
So I reached out to her and asked if she needed any graphic design for labels, and she said that they have a designer, but she'd be more than happy to let me do some stuff for them.
So
here I am.
so you're doing stuff for them right now.
I am.
So like you're just gonna get to do like are you gonna get to design like when you say logo? Is it a logo for one of their crafts? Is it a logo for their company? Is it a logo for?
So they already have a logo developed, so I'm just doing the label. So what a lot of breweries do is each can, it seems to be like its own thing, unless they have like, you know, a line of beers, and maybe it'll be like its own group, so to say. But that's the thing I like about the craft brewery industry as far as design goes, is that you can do whatever you want essentially with it. You can go as far as you want with it, or you can make it as basic as you want to, and people are still going to drink it because it's beer and it's good.
It's
But
fantastic.
good packaging also sells too.
Really?
Yes.
So actually, so I have two questions out of that. What is so intriguing to you about the craft beer industry that makes you want to work there? Actually, there are kind of two questions in that, specifically because you mentioned the craft beer industry and that type of deal. What do you like so much about that industry? From there, segue to what are some of your ideal industries to work in? What are some of like the things you love designing? Go from there.
So what really intrigues me about the graphic design side of craft brewery is craft beer.
Beerery.
Brewery. I really enjoy the design that comes from craft beer because, like I said, you can do so much with it. You can be so flexible with it, and it catches the eye. There's so many, at least from what I've seen, they are so bold with colors, and there's so many different elements that go on into it. And I can't really say that there's a lot of breweries that produce the same packaging. It's almost like it's their own without it being like, hey, these all look the same.
Sure.
So I really like that you can still have a brand and still be consistent with a brand, but still be able to branch out and be creative with various different designs for cans.
And would you say that that's something that they take fairly seriously? Like they try to be as versatile as they can with as many different designs as possible while still staying consistent, hiring very good people at what they do, stuff like that? Or is it just kind of something that like...
I can't speak too much on
Canva.
that just yet, just because I'm only this is the first label project that I have.
Oh, okay.
So I'm learning what the expectations are from the brewers themselves and what they expect to have us put out for their breweries.
Gotcha. Okay. And then outside of that, or if that is the answer, what are like some of your ideal projects, things that you love creating, styles that you like creating, some like... Name like a couple large companies that are like dreams, whatever, stuff like that. Like, what are some of your major aspirations in the industry? If not for a specific company or specific industry, I don't know, just sometimes people have like dreams and it's like, I really just want to like do this. And I don't know for who, I don't know for how much money, I don't know for how much whatever, this, that, and the other. But like, sometimes people have specific dreams, vague dreams, or goals, or just want to, like me, I don't really have any like major goals like that are very specific for the photography video industry. But I know for a fact that through everything, I literally just want to grow day to day.
Yeah.
Like I just want to continue to get bigger and bigger. And as long as I can continue to scale, that's where I feel happy. So, like, if that's it for you, or if there's a specific goal in mind or something totally different, like, where do you want to go with that?
So, one of my biggest goals right now is I'm trying to launch my social media to consistently have new graphic designs on it.
So, finally.
I actually messaged Che about this, like, 3 months ago, and I was like, how do I do this social media thing? Please help. How do I do this with a full-time job?
I want to post on Instagram. Please help.
How do these people do it? I don't know how they do it. So I have started that, but what I want to do is I want my role models to see me without having to directly tag them and be like, hey, you, look at what I just made.
Sure.
I would like to be able to branch out and have those see me and wonder, oh, what does she have to offer? What is she putting out? And then go in from there.
Gotcha. So you want to get to a point where people start to kind of notice you and see like what you're doing.
Right.
That'll come with slowly working with more and more brands, and then those people talk, or like for some reason a representative from one company just sees a certain label from a certain beer that you do, or a certain design from a certain page, and then you just bro. It'll feel so good when you get that. Be like, so we saw what you did with so and so company, and we really liked that, and we'd like you to do it too. It's like, really? You care? Wow.
So
it's the best feeling in the world.
I was pulling this up so I could show you just kind of where my inspiration lies. But on Instagram, I follow a graphic designer. His name is Corey Miller, Corey with a K, if you want to check him out. He produces some really, really cool stuff. And I never realized that this was like the kind of style that I wanted until I really found his page, because he was featured on Adobe's Instagram. Like, he got to take over their Instagram for a week.
No way.
I saw all of his art, and it was really inspiring, and it made me just want to sit down and grind all week and just really improve my skills and be able to be as good as Corey. He does a lot of packaging for coffee companies. There's one that he does for live.
fits.
I think it's Live Bearded. I think that's the company name.
Maybe you've sent him. Ooh, that's a nice one. Sorry, I'm just looking at these covers. Yeah, wow, this guy,
So he does like
bro.
he actually also does beer labels as well. He does. I don't think that's his primary.
Bro, this guy, his primary niche.
Yes, that.
But this
Again,
guy
words.
probably makes bank on every single design he makes. Oh my god.
But he does a lot of good stuff, and his wife also. She helps him too. They have a company together. It's called Park Street Studios, also on Instagram if you'd like to check that out. But I don't know exactly what side she does, but I know that she is also involved with it as well. And together they produce some awesome stuff.
No
I'm not
kidding.
sure if she's a designer as well, or if she handles more of like the administrative side of things, like billing and invoices
Right.
and emails.
That's
and handling all
often
of
the
that.
role that's kind of played in that one. If
Yeah.
if it's not that, it's basically flipped.
Right.
But yeah, that's typically how it goes. But I wouldn't. Wow, this is incredible.
Yeah, his stuff is awesome.
This guy, this is dope. I'm obsessed with this type of post, by the way.
Yes.
Like the over the top view of the tablet with like the design
Yes.
in the software that's used to design it. I'm obsessed with that idea, like showing like it was just made and where it was made. It adds a very like scrolling through that type of a feed. I think I see all these designs and I'm like, this guy's so good, I could never get there. And then all of a sudden, even though it's just another one of his incredible designs, because it's being shown on such a simple device like an iPad or a tablet or
Right.
something like that, I'm like, wow, it's like,
You really can.
I almost feel like I could do it after seeing that picture or
And-
get to a certain point. I'm obsessed with that kind of, sorry, I'm
So,
obsessed, yeah.
No, you're good. But I actually had the same exact experience when I did discover Corey, because I would always see these designers who design this intricate work, and I'm just thinking, wow, I could never produce something with detail that's that good, and see what they're able to produce. So when I saw Corey's and really like started to look into like how his designs were, it made me realize that less is more. Now, I'm not to say that he doesn't do much, because his work is insane and amazing. But if you look into it, it's really the simple things that all combine together to make one big, cool thing.
Yep. It's incredible. That's what I love. That's what I love about design in all aspects, in graphics and videos and photos and overall creative, and just about any way that you could get into that thing, is that everything that you do, everything that you learn, everything that you use and apply throughout all of your creative endeavors is always affected by something that you've either seen, done, or heard about. And utilizing all of these little things that you see, have done, or hear about, and applying all of them into a single piece and doing that repetitively.
Exactly.
And then growing and then continuing to do that. And then 10 years, you've heard, 8 times the amount of stuff and done 10 times the amount of things.
Right.
And you just keep building from
Exactly.
there. Sorry, I get goosebumps when I talk about creative.
No, it's okay.
I freaking love that.
I just threw my phone off the side of the couch for I don't know what reason.
That's good. That's
It's there now.
Yes, we only have 25 minutes for our segment. I'm sorry. I gotta get Joe Rogan in here for, sorry. We're very limited time. Then Gary Vee is coming in after him, and then we got, bro. Someday I'm gonna be able to say that, and I'm gonna be like, ballin'.
CEO of Adobe is coming in next.
Oh my God, imagine, bro. Oh my goodness,
Just be
imagine.
like, hello. That's all.
That's
That's all.
They'd sit down.
See, when I was
Hello, thank you for coming, and I'm speechless. Goodbye.
Yeah. When I've not met a lot of famous people, but when I meet people who are of very importance, I clam up and I just freeze, and I'm like,
hello, yes.
oh,
This
is you in real life. This is
you,
not just a picture of you on my phone.
Yep.
This is you in real life.
I even do that with people that, I don't know, but, I know that they hold a certain amount of power or status that, could be valuable to me in a business essence. I was doing this thing in Naples, and I was shooting with this guy, making him a short video for his website. And one of the girls that was in the office came up and was, asking us what we were doing and stuff. And she basically like kind of runs the marketing for like that division, like that whole division. And the guy that I was shooting with after she left basically looked at me and was like, yeah, she basically is the CEO of marketing in this company. And I was like, oh. And the reason I got so flustered is because soon after he told me this, she came back over, continued to talk to us, and then started asking me about my like rates and availability and asked me for cards. And I'm sitting here talking and I'm like, yes, hi. I'm like, I'm like so flustered.
Here's my business card.
I
Please
know
take
I
it.
messed up so bad to the point where later when she was just kind of like, 'cause she was just around in the office. So she just like occasionally popped in and we actually ended up using her in one of the shots as well. And so I knew I messed up so bad, like to the point where I went up to her later and I was like, to answer your question in a slightly less flustered manner. And then I went and I answered the entire, like the question again, but I went and did that because I felt like I had to.
Did you, wait,
because I was stuttering so bad.
Did you actually say to her, so let me answer your question in a less flustered manner? Like, did you?
A slightly less flustered manner is exactly word for word is what I said because I knew for a fact that I was stuttering and had no idea exactly what I was saying.
Why is that me? Like,
I can't answer that.
Just turn back around. You're like, I'm sorry. Let me re-introduce myself.
Oh, it wasn't immediately after. So like we were talking. We had that. I was sitting there. And I was like, yeah, I guess. Like I had no idea. Like I was like, I don't know how to answer these questions. So I just kind of did like half-assed. Like I was like, and then she left, and then we kept on shooting, and then this was probably about 20 minutes later or like 15 minutes later. So like we've had a break and then she came back and then I had time to think and process the answers to the questions and I was like, oh, I should have said it like this. Like, what you do when you have a conversation with somebody or like when you tell the waiter when you say you too to the waiter after they say enjoy your food. Like that's the feeling I had.
When you buy a movie ticket and they say enjoy the movie, you're like you too. That's
the feeling that I had after leaving that initial conversation with her. I was like, wow, that was so stupid.
Fun fact, my boyfriend and I went to the movies one time and he looked at me and he said, don't say it.
Please tell me you did it out of spite.
No, not out of spite, but out of habit.
Pure accidental. Oh my God.
He specifically told me, don't say it. And I just lost my train of thought from getting the tickets and I guess paying for them. And he said, enjoy the movie.
In
I said,
the
you
3
too.
minutes.
And he looks at me like, we just talked about this. What is wrong with you? And I said, I don't know. There's a lot wrong.
She said, oh no.
I don't know.
I can't.
Can you imagine how many times they've actually probably heard that?
Oh, probably all the time. No, most of the time what they probably hear is not like you too. They probably hear you too. That's probably what they hear most of the
They hear UT.
UT. Oh. Like, that's probably what they hear most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's fantastic.
I love that.
Yup. What is one of the best experiences that you have had? So, actually, before I get into that, you just started a new job, right? Are you allowed to, like, talk about that? Is it official? You're going in? Like, what's with that? What's that whole situation like?
I just got a job offer for a company that's local to where I live.
That's freaking awesome.
To be a full-time graphic designer for them. I have not started yet. I start in a couple weeks. It is snack time.
It's snack time. It's always snack time, bro.
So I got the job offer. It's actually a week ago.
Hell yeah.
A couple weeks ago. No, a week ago. So I start in 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Bro, that's so cool. That's
my
so
first graphic
awesome.
design job that wasn't like freelance.
Bro, that's incredible.
So
is it like a full-time thing? Like you're literally just gonna day to night be creating? Yeah. That's freaking awesome.
So I'm Monday through Friday.
Bro,
which is crazy to say.
Are you in office, at home, like?
It's uncertain at the moment because during my interview, they told me that they have actually outgrown their space. So marketing was actually working from home, but they would come in to use the studio space as needed if they had something important come in that they needed to shoot that day on site. But mostly remote.
Would you also be doing like photography and stuff, or are you just a designer?
So I'm a designer, but
are you like creative
I'm
for their team, not a designer, not a photographer, but like a creative? Because that's something a lot of companies do as well.
Yes.
Having a creative department.
So my title is graphic designer, but she said there is the possibility that I could be wearing many hats. Like,
love it. Are you salary or hourly?
Salary.
Fantastic. So they can throw as many hats on you as they want.
Yes, they can throw as many hats as they want.
That's fantastic. We love that.
And I told her I was totally fine with that because with my job currently, I still wear a lot of hats and I'm used to it. So I'm just
right.
That's
at least now you get to wear hats that you want to do.
I get to wear creative hats.
Bro, that's amazing. So
that's hype.
That's amazing. That's so
It's
exciting. So like, are you still gonna get to like create and do your own commissions and stuff outside of it and stuff like, or do they have any issues with that, or are you just like?
Not
kind
that
of
I'm aware of.
That's awesome.
That's a good point that you just made. So I hope that they aren't.
Some people, well, I mean, most of the time they don't, but like I have had one friend that I talked to, and they were like, yeah, they really don't. It's like a whole no compete type deal, and like.
I could understand if it conflicts their
Oh yeah, I mean
their business, but what I create versus what I'll be creating for them, I don't see it being a conflict.
No. Okay, that's fine. Because
I don't see it ever taking business away from them because there's something so specific, and I'm just going to leave it out just that way people can't identify the company just for privacy.
Gotcha. Well, yeah.
But what they need versus what I create for other people are just two completely different things.
Now, obviously, because you'll have your role with that company, and then that company, obviously, anything that they put out is put out under their company name.
Right.
For your own freelance stuff, because obviously you have a portfolio going for that, you're putting yourself out there for that, you do work actively for that, do you get to utilize any of the assets that you design, create, promote for yourself, for the company, for yourself? Or do you basically just get to say, hey, I made that and hope that people believe you?
That last part.
Okay.
But I actually don't know for certain because I haven't started yet. So all of like the rules and regulations and policies I have not seen them yet. I've just seen the basic ones for the company that are just for everyone. So everything's a little up in the air right now, but that's fine. But either way, I'm still going to be getting experience and I'll be learning 100%. lot with this job. So either way,
it's amazing.
This is going to be a huge learning experience.
No, it's also access. I mean, you're going to learn a lot from a lot of people, get to do a lot more projects, get exposure to a lot more people. It's really a win-win no matter how you look at it, and you're getting paid to do what you love to do already. Like if somebody wanted to like bring me on, I mean, like it'd be tough, but like I don't see why not. But no, I love that. What is one of the best experiences that you've had? This is going back to your own freelance work. So like when you put yourself out there, how often do you work like for freelance work, by the way? Like do you get a lot of commissions, a little bit of commissions? Like are you just starting to really put yourself out there? Like what's that like?
It comes in waves.
Okay.
It's like
I feel that.
I get like tsunamis of commissions and everyone at once needs my services, which is great. But then I get a period where I'm just like,
that's how
silent.
I feel. Yep.
Absolutely silent. So I'm working to balance my workflow so that way I can consistently always have something going because I can multitask between projects, but there's a certain point that I can multitask to.
Right.
So to benefit not only myself, but also my client as far as their deadlines go and having consistent communication, I'm trying to kind of let them know up front if I don't have availability right then and there.
Sure.
Hey, I would love to do this, but if your deadlines are flexible, that would
be fantastic.
That would be fantastic because I am booked out.
I'm dead.
Which is kind of crazy to say. I don't want to say booked out because it's not like I'm months out. I have project after project. 100%. But having a few at one time is...
Yeah. No, typically what I do, like when I get booked like a lot and I literally have like nothing, is like when they come to me and they're like, yo, we want to do a photo shoot. I'm like, what's your availability in August? I'm like,
yeah.
I just go up front and I'm like, so, no. When can we do this? Not now, please. Sorry.
As much as I would love to do this now, I don't think that my body could make it
I'm
there
not sure
because I'm
gonna be
running out of steam.
Yeah. I drink a lot of Celcius, but I'm on like 3 today, and I probably shouldn't do a 4th, so it's fine.
This is number 1.
That's number. Oh, that's not today. I'm not saying today.
Oh,
no.
I was like,
I'm just saying like in the future, like I mean, for lots of other, I have a list. But anyway, no, I have done some days where I've literally had like Skittles. 2 or 3 of these. Open those Skittles like there's no tomorrow.
Should we do like a little ASMR opening the
Bro,
package?
absolutely, go for it.
Was that satisfying enough?
So satisfying, the most satisfying. Bro, can I just say, like, Tropical Vibe, this is probably the most satisfying and aesthetically pleasing art that they've done for one of their cans yet. Like, having the fruit on the front is nice, but, like, the vibe line, like the Tropical Vibe, Peach Vibe, like, those ones just do it.
So this one actually matches my water bottle. I'm going to go get it because every time I take my Peach Vibe
No way.
and my water bottle to the gym, it's
Bro.
always so, like, it looks like I planned it.
That's wild. It does look like it. It's even, like, the same shade of green, too.
It is.
Bro. That's so wild. Freaking love it. Bro, the freaking starfruit, like, that was genius, though. Like,
I'm not sure how
that's a
centered
freaking
this
great
is,
idea.
so
I don't even know, but, like, that's incredible.
It's great.
That's wild.
Not planned.
Oh. Who was like, who in marketing was like, guys, starfruit? Like, who does that?
I'm gonna take that advice and take it to my new job, Starfruit.
Yup.
He's sitting here trying to figure out how I can afford a Tesla.
That's exactly me, though. Bro, I am upset. I got to drive a Model S in Naples. Bro, oh my God. The car can see the traffic cones, the stoplights, the
other
stopped
cars on the
cars,
road?
thank God. The stoplights. It sees when the light turns green, and I don't understand it, but it's beautiful, and I want that car so bad.
I have never, like, obviously I know what a Tesla is, but I've never, I sat in one for the first time about 2 weeks ago.
No way.
I didn't know how to operate the door handles.
Was it a Model 3 or a Model S?
Model 3.
Yep. So those are the ones you have to press your thumb into the one side to pop
sitting
out
here
the
like-
handle. Like, she's just smacking the side of the car.
But, like, honestly, what are these door handles?
Well, it is confusing because the Model S, when the car unlocks, the handles
Yes.
pop out. If
That's
they're
what
not
I
popped
thought they
out,
all
you have to
did.
tap. That's honestly, I did too until I sat there and tapped it and it didn't pop out. So I was like, this is different. So then I just started pressing on the door handle of the Model 3.
I had to ask
until it
Alex, I was like,
popped
can you
out.
please open the door for me? Because apparently I'm incapable of operating a door to a Tesla. I am too
Bro,
poor to operate this car and sit in the
Yup,
back seat.
the door handle called me poor.
Okay, but actually, yes, that's what I felt like. I felt like
Model
the
3
door
is the
handle
poor
just sat
man's
there and laughed
Tesla.
at me when I was trying to open it.
The Model 3 is the poor man's Tesla. It's okay. I mean, that's what a friend of mine calls it. Because they're like, I mean, the base model starts at what, like 40,000 or 35?
I can't even say that because I'm like, I couldn't afford it.
Bro, I actually went through and priced out my ideal package. So I got a Model S, all the bells and whistles, the nicer tire, or the nicer rims, the nicer seats, all that fun stuff, extra mileage. I didn't get ludicrous mode because at the time I don't think that existed. And when they, included it, I was like, this is pointless. Unless you're racing, which actually is not a bad idea. Not so pointless anymore. Anyway,
my Celcius so far out of reach.
what happened?
I don't know if you saw the way I was reaching for this, but I put it so far out of reach that I was like completely disproportionating my body.
It was entertaining. So I priced everything out. I got that Model S, beautiful. Got a Powerwall in my house. And then
He's ready. He's ready for the Tesla to pull up.
And then got my entire roof solar paneled, like decked out. I was like, this is dope. $140,000.
And this is why
I'm
I can't afford a
crying.
Tesla.
Bro, $140,000. It's not bad though.
Say that now, but
Bro, the guy that let me drive his Tesla, he told me that he's like, I would be surprised if I spent more than $1 a day on gas or on gas, like charging.
yeah.
He's like, it literally costs him like less than $1 a day, and people think like, it might cost you quite a bit of money
Right.
to charge up completely.
Yeah.
I say fill up, charge up completely, but like you might only use between 10 and 20% of your tank in a day. So if you're only using that and that that lasts you
I mean,
an
if you
entire
think
week.
about it, if you're spending
Literally.
$30 a week to fill up your car,
Homie, I'm spending more than that right now with Biden here. I'm spending way more. Bro,
I used to spend 20, but now I'm spending 30.
I spent about 35. 2 weeks ago, I spent 40, and I'm crying. 38.
$40?
Like,
The amount of pain I just felt emitting from the other side of the couch was crazy. But I mean, it's not. I mean, I understand, and you absolutely have every right to feel that pain because who wants to pay $40 to fill up a tank,
bro?
when I could have.
Here's the thing:
20.
most people put between 8,000 and 15,000 miles on their car in a year. I can do that in like 2.5 months. I'm not kidding.
No, I know, because you travel everywhere, literally everywhere.
Literally everywhere, bro. Every single company that I work for is a travel-based company, and then my own shit is travel-based shit. So I'll travel between, like, I went down to Naples 2.5 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago for a freaking shoot, and I was down there, and I traveled around while I was there, and then, oh my god, I went down to, bro, I was in Fort Myers for a little while, like for a few days, doing some work, and I've been all the way up to, like, I went to Plant City. I commuted there like 3 times in a week, or twice in a week, or whatever it was. It's pain. It's pain. Thank God I have a Honda. That bitch will last forever.
Dude, I had a Civic, and I loved it.
Yep.
2006.
Those cars are
I had a
fantastic.
2006 Honda Civic. It was a little 2-door black car, and it was the cutest little thing.
We love that.
Loved it until I hit a deer at 65 miles per hour.
Bambi said, "Wee."
That was not Bambi. That was Bambi's father.
Sorry, that was funny.
He was huge. Like, when I tell you, that's... When I tell you that this was the biggest deer I've ever seen in Florida, what are the odds that I hit the biggest deer in Florida?
Very high, apparently.
Yeah.
She did
And then,
that.
so, you know what? Let me go down that rabbit trail for a second,
go
because it's
down
actually
that
very
rabbit trail.
entertaining. It's not creative related, but it was
been
traumatic
talking
at the
about
time, but
Teslas
I
for
can
the
laugh
last 10
about it
minutes.
now. What'd you say?
So we've been talking about Teslas for the last, like, 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We're off the creative track.
Yeah.
It's fine.
What's creative? I don't know what that is.
Everything's creative.
Anyways.
I'm creative. That's what my mommy tells me, but it's okay. Continue.
So after I hit the deer, it flew off to the other side of the road. And then I had these 2 guys driving behind me, and they were like, "What in San hell just happened?" Because I was out in BFE.
Oh,
I was in the middle of nowhere because I used to live in BFE.
Yep.
Waimama, Florida. Shout out to everyone in Waimama.
I don't know where that is, but it's somewhere.
It's in BFE. So anyways, they asked me where the deer went.
For
and I was
those of
like,
you that don't know what BFE is, it's... I'm not saying that. Continue.
Just look it up. Just look it up. So they asked me where the deer went, and I was like, dude, I don't care about where the deer is right now. My car is
imploded.
My car is done. It is totaled. My airbag did not deploy. And I think that's for the best, because if it did, I probably would have made that worse because I wouldn't be able to see in front of me. So thank you, God, for not deploying my airbag. Never thought I'd say that, but here we are.
For not deploying my airbag.
Not deploying my airbag when I hit something at 65 miles per hour. I love that.
Nice.
Anyways, so they were so concerned about where this deer was, and I was like, dude, hi, I'm fine. Thank you for asking. So glad that you're so concerned about the deer.
This guy, he just wanted to skin the deer. He just wanted to eat.
They went and looked for it. They were like, we're going to take that thing home for dinner. Do you want it? And I was like, just take the deer.
Take the damn deer.
Take it.
Go away.
I never want to see it again.
Bro.
I was so mad. I was on my way to go take my brother to school. My brother was not in the car with me yet, thank God. I'm just glad that I was by myself, because that would have been even more traumatic for him.
Right.
So
I almost hit a deer like 2 weeks ago.
it's not fun.
No,
Speaking from personal experience, it is not fun.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Just that whole day. So now I'm very, I'm like looking on both sides of the road when I drive through there now. I'm like,
At the country roads?
yeah.
Yeah.
Not just through there, but like everywhere.
Oh.
Because now I'm just thinking, all right, when's the next one going to come out? Because
gotta-
obviously I didn't see the first one.
We got to move those deer crossing signs. We can't encourage them. We can't be encouraging them to cross in such
There was
dangerous
no
places.
deer crossing sign,
Oh.
mind you.
Oh,
Love that.
that's unfortunate.
That's all right.
Must have strayed from the path. They didn't get the memo.
No.
No. Back to creative. What was the inspiration behind this? So when I say this, for people listening, I'm wearing a shirt, clearly. And the shirt has an orange on it with some flowers, and it says Homegrown Roots. And this person across from me designed it. So what was that? What?
I said, who's that?
A graphic designer.
So my inspiration
A
behind that
designee.
shirt, I really just went through a phase where I was like, orange blossoms are pretty cool. I should just make one.
Yep.
So I did, and my
That's
intention was
how
to
it
just
is.
put it on my social media and call it a day. And I was driving home from dinner with Alex, and I got off the interstate, and I just like, I was driving, but I like smacked my hand over, and I like grabbed his chest, and I looked at him, and I said,
Like mom armed him.
T-shirts. He was like, what? And I said, T-shirts. The orange T-shirts.
Bro.
So
Okay. Wild.
since then, I have launched my first ever piece of merch.
That's
and
awesome.
it has taken off very successfully, and I'm very grateful for all the support that I have gotten from this launch. I didn't think it would be that big,
That's awesome.
but it was big to me.
That's
I think
incredible.
I sold like 20 shirts.
No way.
Yeah.
Bro, that's so
Yeah.
wild.
So I'm really, really pumped about that.
That's awesome. Now, I know you did it through Teespring. What was your experience with that? Because we tried to work with Teespring a little bit, but their margins were really, really low. And it was like, I didn't want to charge $35 for a shirt, but you somehow managed to only charge like 25
So-
or like whatever it was.
I think it was $21 or $22.99. That was the base price that they suggested for me, and it also depends on what kind of shirt you pick. So I picked not
I
like
picked a bad shirt. Oh, an expensive shirt. Oops, my bad.
I didn't pick the basic shirt because I wanted something just a little bit more, and so I picked what they call the comfort tee. And so from there, you can actually, pick what you want your price to be, but they give you a suggested price. So I just went with the suggested price because I wasn't trying to like make a ton of money off of each T-shirt. I didn't really care about it for the money. I just wanted to do something and get it out there.
Right.
So the money was just a bonus.
What's up, homie? Continue.
Where was I? I was really
no money,
really-
just not no money, but like weren't really in it for the money. Just kind of wanted to like put
Yeah.
something out there.
I wasn't in it for the money. I just wanted to put something out there. So honestly, my experience with them was not too bad. I don't know if I didn't just read it right, but one of my listings, well, I say one of, because I had that shirt as well as a few other colors. And then I also launched a white shirt separately, but I had to do it separate because I had to alter the design to
Gotcha.
be able to be printed on a white shirt by changing the
Right.
letters. So anyways, one of
they're
my
white.
listings, which was the listing that had that shirt on it, got taken down. And somebody else had actually brought it to my attention. So unfortunately, I didn't find out, but one of my friends found out and told me. So I have no
That
idea how long
sucks.
my listing was down for. But I reached out to them and they said that my listing had ended, but I
Didn't end it.
didn't end it. I don't know if they have a certain time period where you like can leave listings up, but I was able to repost it and still be able to like I don't know.
How many days after posting did you
2
find
weeks.
out about it?
Not even
2 weeks
like,
after posting?
Not even 2 weeks on the dot, but it was like give or take 2 weeks.
Okay, gotcha. Because
So it was
I
a
bought the
very
shirt probably like
odd-
2 days after release or 3 days after release. Because like the day you released it, I was like tight. Like I didn't have any paychecks. So I was like, give me a sec.
Yeah.
So then afterward, but if it could have been, I was like, it wasn't that long, but yeah, it might have been that long. But
So it was about 2 weeks. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but it's fine. Their customer service was excellent, and they made sure that I got it back up. And ever
That's
since
good.
then, like my listing has not been taken down. I don't have the amount of traffic that I did in the beginning, which to be expected, and that's fine. But my listing is still up, and it's been up for like a month or so now.
that's good.
And I
That's
haven't
really
had
good.
any experience with it getting taken down. So
That's awesome.
I think maybe it was just like a freak mistake or something.
Gotcha. Okay. So back to creative.
Yes.
Oh God. So I want to go back on what you said because you said the Teespring's customer service was great.
Yeah, their customer service was excellent.
That's really good. The only reason I want to go into that because I wanted to segue into a topic that's very, very important to me, which is customer freaking service, which people cannot seem to grasp.
No.
That's not something. No.
They
Clearly, you
can't.
have experience. I see pain. But, like, So.
I work in customer service currently. For Publix.
That's
I work
right.
for Publix
That's
currently.
Right. That's what. Right. So you do that. At least they have one good rep working for them. No. So, no, the people in Publix, like, all jokes aside, the people in Publix are typically pretty good. They're pretty well trained as far as, like, how to handle people.
Right.
And handle people. But, like, there's people you don't want to deal with. Anyway, I recently had a very fantastic experience with freaking Instagram. Decided to block me from
that.
everything. I
You
was
were
not
put in Instagram
allowed
jail.
to do. I wasn't allowed to do anything. It was like, hey, suck a toe. You can't do anything now. And I was like,
You can't
okay.
post anything. You can't DM.
Fantastic.
You can't.
It was funny.
comment,
It
you
still
can't-
let me post. It
Oh, it
still let
did?
me. Well, that's how I posted on my story. I was still banned.
Oh, you're right.
But like, it
I
gave
thought
me
I
the
saw that
pop up
somewhere
every
else.
time I tried to do something. It gave me the pop up. But every time I tap away the pop up, I could go one step further, and tap it away, go one step.
He's
So it's-
figured out the system.
Not really. So it let me post on my story and it let me post the video. However, it wouldn't let me DM. It would give me notifications that DMs were coming in, which was frustrating because I had a lot of them because I was scheduling for this weekend, next weekend for my podcast, as well as scheduling out for a shoot I had last night. Oh my God. Anyway, so I could do that, but I couldn't respond to any of my DMs. I couldn't read any of them, and nor could I respond or view any of the comments that were coming in on my post, which again I was getting notifications for. So it was like comment.
like,
I
hey,
literally got like 11 comments on
This
that post.
person
and
is
I was like, I need
leaving
to
a comment on your
respond.
post, but
Suck a tail.
You can't
Anyway,
read it.
Instagram. Fuck you. So, anyway, bro, you don't have a phone number, you don't have an email, you don't have. Sorry. Anyway, very passionate about that. Reason I wanted to segue into that was when we're doing work as creatives for like people and stuff. What is like your process as far as like start to finish? You know, they contact you, they want to do something. What's your process as far as like figuring out what they want to do? And then once you start the process, what's your communication effort? Like, do you contact them after you finish a complete draft? Do you update them along the way? What are your revision processes? Like, as far as like handling people in like a job, like what do you do as far as that goes? Talking specifically about your freelance work.
So what I do so if I have a client come to me and they're like, hey, like for example, I need a logo done. I'm like, okay, great. First thing I always ask is, do you have a specific deadline that you need this by? Because I need to know what kind of time that I'm working with. So if it's like a rush project, that I can price it accordingly. Because
36 hours. Take it or leave it. I just killed a piece of your soul. What was that? The part of you just left. You were like, I just shut down.
because that hurt. That hurt really bad.
It was terrifying. All right.
In that like half second, I thought about how much lack of sleep I would have and how much stress I would have. Not to say that I couldn't do it, but
Oh, 100%
for those of you who are not
stress.
creatives,
We have
don't
families
sleep.
too.
We don't sleep when we have rush projects, but
Yeah.
it's okay. If we take it on, that's our own fault. But
Yo, I had somebody recently. I'm sorry to cut you off. I had somebody recently that did a photo shoot, and she was doing it for this guy, and this guy like wanted him to like wanted her to keep like taking pictures, and anytime she would like stop to like look at her LCD screen, make sure the pictures were like good, he'd be
Right.
like, "Yo, why are we not taking pictures?" And she's like, "I need to."
you need to
Check
make sure the
these.
images are good so
Right,
I can,
exactly.
make sure that these are good for post-production later because
Exactly, 100%.
If you don't look at the back of your camera and you're shooting, and then you get home and you look at these and you're like, oh God.
No. You just fix it in post. Sorry, that hurt to say. Oh my God, that hurt way more than I thought it would.
I think I didn't have somebody say that exactly to me, but I think that I said
I've
that
had-
to myself.
I've had people just
I was like,
tell
just
me
fix
that
it.
like
It's fine.
I've had people tell me like straight up like that the editing is what makes pictures. Now I'm like, what? I usually put a lot of work into pressing that button.
There's more than just one button that goes into this. I promise. All photographers, videographers, whoever can vouch for that.
Yeah, there's about 6 buttons and like 2 scroll wheels that I have to worry about. and I have to worry about all of them at once.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
We love that. We love that.
Yep, we do. Anyway.
So anyways, what I will do is figure out what kind of deadline that I have to work
Oh,
on
and then
the
he said
project.
he wanted those pictures the same night. It was about 11 o'clock at night that they were taking the pictures, and he wanted them same night.
Excuse me? Like, I can get them to you same night, but it's going to be raw.
I would never, ever send raw pictures.
No, I would never either.
Don't ever send
but,
raw
like,
pictures. You just killed me saying that. Don't ever, don't,
I
no
don't.
raws, no
I
raws,
don't.
no raws.
I don't.
No raws. No raws.
No.
Sorry.
No.
That hurt.
It hurts a lot.
You don't send raws to people.
No, you don't. And I never have, and I never will. So, sorry if
Have you ever had somebody throw a filter over one of your pictures that you send them? She's having a temper tantrum in the corner. She's not.
I need to let that out. I needed to. Because it happens to me too much. Too much. I am so passionate about this, and this is why I'm so upset right now. Don't for something I spent time editing.
Oh my god. Oh man.
I'm back. Give me a second while I cry.
Oh my god. Oh, that was a lot. That was intense. Wow.
I'm crying real tears.
Oh man.
Throwing filters over your work. Please don't do it.
Do it.
It's honestly, like, to me, that's more of an insult than not crediting you.
Oh my god. Yeah. Don't.
Like,
I want to hyperventilate. And yeah.
I think so. I try to seek to understand when this happens, because those who are not in the creative field may not know what tagging your photographer does for us. Like that.
The mentality behind that is like, people
Not
are
just
like, well, if
photographer, but-
people want to know like where the pictures got taken, they'll just ask, right? And then I direct them right to you. I'm like, yes, well, if you have people might not think to ask. They might just see the name and the credit in the caption, I'm sorry, and just tap on it. Like, it's this weird thing. Like, they don't have to think about that. They don't have to think about going to your profile by tapping your @
It's weird when you explain it out loud, but it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Because I
They don't have to
understand
think about
completely
it.
where you're
they
coming
just see,
from.
and they're like, pick by 5 chain, pick by Hayley Safko. Like, okay, makes sense. Click. Let's just see what
Right.
else they've done. Like,
because that's what I do. Because
yes. Sometimes I do it. I don't even think about it. I'm like, how did I get here?
There-
Oh my god.
I can't even tell you how many times I've seen like a really good picture that someone had taken from like their wedding or whatever, and I just wanted to find the photographer.
That's
so
what I
bad.
do, bro.
But
I can't
sometimes
stand it,
it's
bro.
like you can't reach out to those people because either like you just don't want to, like you're socially anxious like me.
Or you just found their image off of like a hashtag or something
Yeah,
somewhere, and
and
you're
it's
like,
just-
yo, your wedding pictures are beautiful. I understand you got married 4 years ago, but
I wasn't
But
stalking your Instagram or
I-
anything, but I found a post from 4 years ago and I really need to know who took this.
that's awkward.
But that's what it is.
That's exactly
what
what
it
it
is.
You
So
eliminated a step.
please credit your people. We really appreciate it.
So like, it's interesting because I've started like using contracts in work that I do. So like, I've actually like, just in practice, I legitimately have people actually sign a piece of paper that basically says, I still own what I create, but you can use it. That's like literally what my
Right.
contract says.
Right.
So that's like, although I'm giving them the rights to use it in any way that they would like, it's still just like, just still credit me. Like, I made it. I own it. Like, I don't force people to like credit me. Like, I don't have that in the contract. I'm not like, you gotta credit me.
Right.
Like, they can
No.
use it. They can do whatever. But like, you know,
Just please.
just
We just ask please.
it's how it
It's
works.
nice.
I
It's I don't want to say common courtesy, but it's courtesy for creatives.
It's courteous to do that for somebody
That's
that
the
goes
word I
through
was
a
trying to
creative
say.
effort for you. Now, like, a friend of mine works with a lot of like fitness, like fitness people, athletes, bodybuilders, stuff like that, making workout videos for them. And in every single one of the videos, this, like for most of his clients, there's just like 2 or 3 clients in particular that I follow, that I see the content. Every single one of them is tagged. He's tagged in every single video. And I'm like, these people get it. Like, these people appreciate the effort that went into it. Because, like, this day and age, we're moving closer and closer to being, like, a creator. Like, the creator economy term has kind of always been there since, like, creatives started becoming a thing. But the creator economy is becoming more and more of a normal every day, that people are starting businesses, promoting ideas, influencing, and overall creating a personal or business brand or image in the digital world. So the creator economy, there's just all of these different ways to like build it. And that's one of the simplest ways that you can do it.
Yes.
And all for people that appreciate it and see what we're doing, because it does take more than just pointing a camera, we appreciate you and we love you.
So much.
That's my sermon.
And if you didn't know that before, we're not trying to like shun you. We're just trying to educate you.
Start tagging.
There's one way to say it.
I'm more aggressive.
I know.
It's okay.
I know. I mean, I'm the one that just got behind the couch and screamed, so I don't know who's actually more aggressive. I actually don't want to put that to the test.
Assertive.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
I'll think on it.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, but he's also, the same guy has also had issues where some of the people will throw filters over the videos. And
it just hurts.
I've even heard this one guy gave this other dude a video, and then the guy, like somebody saw the video, took it, clipped it, put new music to it, and then posted it.
I just want to give that creator a hug right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That hurt.
It does. Like, he saw it and he was like, "What is this?"
It's like a bee sting, honestly.
It's a lot. That's what it is. It's just a lot. Anyway, so filters over work. Don't do it.
No.
So
the thing that frustrates me the most about that is that because like I said, I'm a graphic designer, but I'm also experienced with photography.
Sure.
I go the extra mile with my clients and I ask them what style of editing they prefer, because ultimately they're paying me to produce images for them.
Yep.
And I want to make sure it's how they want it. So I give them all these different kinds of filters and moods and anything else. And I'm just like, hey, which one do you like? Which one suits you?
I love that, actually.
For me to go through the process to ask you what it is that you like, and then for you to throw another one on top, it's just like...
Yeah, so like...
Okay.
Actually, similarly to that, something I just started doing was anytime somebody comes to my website and is like, "Yo, I want this," and I'm like, "All right, dope." Find pictures. So like, because each one of my services on my website has like a small gallery to it. So when it comes to photos, new website. Oh my god,
it's dope
so much. I'm so thrilled about that website. Like. I love Kelp. Kelp, I love you guys. You're amazing. Incredible agency. If you ever need a website, they do everything, and their customer service is superb. Anyway, so each like service has a gallery, and what I tell people, I'm like, go to the page and find pictures that you like. Like, figure out which picture, because I edit for a couple things. One, the person themselves. Like sometimes like lighter skin, darker skin, brighter clothing, darker clothing, certain colors of clothing, patterns, location, time of day, brightness, stuff like that. Everything, like, you have to edit for that. And even sometimes a specific editing style will really make an image pop. Like a beach preset that's like light and airy and like incredible will work for one photo and not work for another photo that is seemingly similar, but it doesn't work for the surroundings, doesn't work for the person. So like, I'm like, go find a specific set of pictures that you like, and I will use that. Yeah. Because when I take pictures, this kind of goes into the creative thing. Every picture that I take with a finished version in my head. You know, like I know how this is going to look. I know what I'm going to do to it. I know what it's going to look like in post. I know what it's going to look like in every step of the way.
Right.
Like I've gotten to that point. So my point to that was like, I just started doing that so people can like find exactly what they want. And actually, this just popped into my head. When I had the guy design my logo that I had for the Nott Shots logo that I have, I'm actually curious because for us, like creatives in the photography and video area, we don't want you really messing with our shit. Like, we don't really want you messing with our photos, videos. Like, we'll send you stuff. If you want us to revise it, please come to us, and we'll do that. For graphic design,
It's the same way.
I know it's the same way. But the reason that I'm about to ask this question is because my designer sent to me a bunch of JPEGs, a bunch of PNGs for like, you know, background and then transparent. He also sent me source files. He sent me the Adobe Illustrator files. He sent me the source files. He sent me every description for the actual logo itself, which would have given me the full power to open that Adobe Illustrator file and change the logo. How do you, when you deliver, do you just deliver like JPEGs and PNGs and then send that off, or do you deliver source files? Why would somebody do that is what I'm getting at here.
I think it depends on
that gives power.
Designer to designer, because for me, I wouldn't say never. I actually, when I deliver, I put it all in a Google Drive, and I have two separate folders. One's for Adobe files and one's for JPEG or PNG files. So I believe there's a couple people that I had given them the Adobe files. I think it's just because I trusted them and they were people I knew.
Sure.
Whereas clients that I didn't know and I don't know them on a personal level, I would just give them the PNGs or the JPEGs because that's what I knew they needed. If they had asked me for the Adobe files, I could understand sending it to them, because sometimes if you are adding your logo to something that's going to get printed, sometimes like print shops, they need things done a certain way or in a certain file format.
Sure.
So really that goes into, I think giving them the Adobe file gives them the freedom to be able to have somebody else fix it, not just to completely alter or change the logo, but to be able to get it to be, oh my gosh, words. To be able to do, I can't, words.
Using the...
I blanked mid-sentence. That happens a lot.
When you take the Adobe Illustrator file or, whatever you're using in design to design whatever you need, sometimes having that source file would help the companies or the print shop or the agency use... Like if they either need the raw file or if they need to export it in a different fashion that you don't give them, TIF files, stuff like that.
I've never worked in a print shop, so I don't know what the printers need. Okay. But they know what they need, so they need that Adobe file. So that's where I think that kind of falls into place. But a few of the projects that I've done for like the people I knew, they were web-based projects. Like they were not going to be printed.
Okay.
But for things that were going to be printed, that's when I would throw in the Adobe file and be like, hey, just in case.
Do you use contracts in your work, or is it just kind of like written word, like through text and stuff like that? This goes into like the rights, the rights of usage, the pricing. Like, is it just like you send a text message and that's it, or do you actually go into like contracts and stuff for your work?
Currently, it's just by word, but I'm working on getting contracts. I just haven't had the time to sit down and like really like make a contract and read into contracts and figure out what exactly I want.
But it's such a complicated process.
But I'm on my way to that because I don't like the uncertainty, and I never want to be
terrifying.
I never want to be in a situation where I'm like, well, this happened because I didn't have a contract.
Right. No, because I didn't write up a summary email after a quote meeting that I had with a client, and the people, like, I quoted them $450 for the project. I'm fairly certain I did that. And then, like a day later, when we actually, the guy that I was working for, because it was through his agency, I'm just the one that booked the client, he sent them the invoice and stuff and back and forth, and he handled that communication. And then apparently they were like, no, we said 400. And I'm like, just give it to them. Just go for it. Have a blast. So, like, that happened.
Great customer service.
Oh, fantastic customer service. I'm like, yeah, just give them a discount. It's okay. But it's okay. How do you handle... So, like, you don't do, like, the contracts and stuff. I would definitely, like, start...
I'm on my way there.
I've never been cheated Like, I've never been, like, cheated, like, really bad, or, like, I've never had anybody be like, no, we agreed on, like, or, like, really argue with me. Thankfully, I haven't had that yet, but I'm, like, terrified of it happening. So, like, I just kind of, like, I just start using them in good practice, even with friends. Like, you would think friends are the people, like, you don't really need contracts with. I actually use it more on my friends as a practice to get comfortable with the idea of handing somebody a piece of paper, because that's still uncomfortable as hell to me. Like, hey, sign this.
Yeah, it's like,
give me your life. Like, what is this? I don't.
Because you never want to put your friends in an awkward situation, be like, hey, like, I trust you with my life, but I need you to sign this contract.
I know, it's so awkward, but, like, I sit there and I'm
weird.
like, hey, like, and most of the time I tell them, I'm like, I'm just having you sign the contract as a formality, and because I want to get comfortable with it for the future, like, let's just, do that.
Something that I have heard from various creatives is that your friends will be the first ones to take advantage of you and your services. Maybe not all your friends, and this doesn't apply to everyone.
Right. No, I understand completely what you're saying. They're the people that understand. They're the people that, not necessarily your friends, however, people that are in your life that you know on more than just a one-off level.
Yeah, and sometimes even the people you're close with, they can just completely backstab you and, like...
Listen to this. Can you bring your camera?
I'm containing myself for this one. I'm containing myself. It's fine.
I'm gonna cry.
No, I forgot it. It's different when, like, somebody reaches out to me and they're like, hey, I know you're a great photographer and I know you're coming to this, like, if it's like a family event, they're like, I know you're a photographer and I know you can take great pictures and we really want to remember this event. Can you bring the camera to, like, the family reunion? And then I'm like, yeah, sure. But if I'm going to a wedding, do not ask me to bring my camera to your wedding, because no.
I've only done that once. I did it for a good set of friends of mine who couldn't really afford a photographer at all. So they had, like, a couple people taking pictures. And I'm not sure if all of them, I know I went there and just kind of did it, because I wanted to. But I don't know if the other people were getting paid. I'm not sure. Doesn't really matter. But that was the one time that I did that. But otherwise, I'm like, listen, man, like, I really just want to enjoy the event.
Right. That's my thing, too, is that I don't mind taking pictures. It's not that I mind taking pictures at all. It's that I want to enjoy the event, too. Like, I'm not here to work the event. I'm here to enjoy the event.
Exactly. No, it's it's a lot. No, when people come to me, there is a certain way to approach people for that.
Oh, yes, for sure.
There's a certain way, like, there's a few different, like, preliminary questions to ask. Like, when you approach somebody, there's a few different approaches. Like, for the first sentence, there's, what are your rates? What do you charge? Variations of that.
I realized I had, like, a middle part, and I looked like...
I'm sure it was okay.
Looked great.
There's, what are your rates, or what do you charge, or any kind of variant of that. And then there's the, hey, we're doing this. Would you be willing to take, like, a genuine request of taking pictures, which is my preference. Like, if you come to me and actually legitimately just want me to take pictures, most of the time I'm willing to oblige for that. The can you bring your camera thing, even though it plays off in your head as more casual, it really doesn't translate to this side. And that's not, like, I don't take offense to it.
No, yeah.
We don't, I mean, I'm not going to look at you and be like, dick. Like, I'm not going to, like, that's not how we look at it. But, like, I'm less inclined to say yes if you're like, oh, if you treat it as some offhand, like, can you bring your camera? That's more taking it for granted than literally either not wanting to or not being able to pay for it, which is
like, for example, I have a really good friend of mine who I have done family pictures for them, like, every year, maybe once or twice a year. They're not only friends of mine, but they are longtime clients of mine. They've been there since literally day one of me picking up the camera.
I love that.
And where he works, he gets to do a lot of community events. So one of the events was a fundraiser for Alex's lemonade stand.
Nice.
And he asked me, like, hey, you're the first person that came to mind. Would you be able to donate your services at this event and photograph the event for my company? And I was like,
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a
I can
great,
do
yeah,
that.
that's a fantastic way to
Because
approach
to me, it's not just, hey, can you come take pictures? It's, hey, can you donate your services? Like,
Would you be willing to, even phrasing
Yes.
matters. in that
Phrasing does
request.
matter. It's like, almost like you wouldn't say certain things to your boss I mean, depending on who your boss is.
Sure.
But there's certain things that you shouldn't say casually, and you should kind of put a little bit more into it. And that's one of them.
A little bit more effort. Particularly, like,
Mainly just because it shows us that you care about our time and that you're not just like, oh yeah, you can work for free. It's fine. Like, because
Right, exactly.
time is money.
yeah.
And I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to come off as like money is everything. 'Cause
Right.
That's not.
There's
but
no good way to say this
It's-
because, like, we
it's
need
hard.
money, but we're willing to do stuff. We're
Yes.
willing to do shit for you for free, but, like, you have to ask a certain way. But, like, it's not like a say please type of thing. Like, it's not like that. I don't know how to put this.
It's hard.
It is. It's super, super hard.
I hope you understand what we're trying to say, because we're not
sorry.
we're not evil, and we're not trying to just give our services away to people who want to pay full price for it, because that's not the case whatsoever. It's just the fact of the matter is that we need you to see us as somebody who puts a lot of time and effort into something, and not just like, oh yeah, you can just click a button and that's it.
You can't just like fit it in. You can't just
Yeah.
make a logo for me. You can't just
No.
You can't just like get a couple pictures in there. Sorry, that's time, homie. I spend time prior to the shoot thinking about it, brainstorming it, prepping for it. I go to the
Yes.
shoot, I do it, and I go home. I spend time thinking about it, editing it, revising it, revising it, not for them, for me, for revising it, and then
That is
I
me.
send it off, and then I still think about it until you get me a damn response back, because some people you send the assets to, and then they don't respond for like a few days, and you're like, do you like the
3
pictures?
business weeks.
Can I do? Fantastic. Getting into like the nitty gritty of what we do from start to finish, how do you brainstorm? Words. I don't know.
Words are good.
How do you design in your face parts and then design on a tablet? Like, what do you ask, think about, and do before actually like trying to conceptualize a logo or a design or something like that? So somebody comes to you, they want something, like, what goes on in your head as like a designer on
So-
that front? What are the things that you think about, things that you need?
One of the first things that I'll ask them is, do you have any inspiration? Because that's one of the things that I need to know to kind of help me drive what direction I'm going to take this project in. Because you could come to me with a project and I could whip you up a design and I could love it, but it might not be what you're looking for. And I understand that everyone
Right.
has their own different preferences. So what I do is I ask them if they have any inspiration or if they have anything that they've seen and that they like and they'd like me to obviously not copy what it is, but
Right.
create something out of that. And if not, that's okay. That's where I come in and I start brainstorming. So what I'll do
become a
is
creator.
I look through Instagram. Like, I go through hashtags like crazy because
Oh,
there's
yep.
so many creators on Instagram that there's so many different things that people make, and there's all so many different kinds of styles on there. So I really go to Instagram to find some source of inspiration. And if I can't find it there, then I'll look on like magazines, Google. I'll go like sometimes I just find inspiration just driving down the road, looking at a billboard. I'm like, oh, hey, that sparks an idea in my head.
Yep.
And then from there, I create I create a variety of sketches to provide to the client and see
Gotcha.
if they have a couple that they like that I can elaborate on more and put a little bit more detail into it so they can actually see it come to life, and then we decide from there which one we're going to move forward with or what ideas we're going to move forward with.
Gotcha. When you say sketches, do you work like digitally or like literally pen and pad? And
Digitally.
Gotcha.
I used to do pen and paper, but I don't like the idea of not being able to erase it. And even with a pencil, like
What platforms do you use to design? Do you use Adobe products and then Illustrator and like InDesign and stuff, or do you
solely Adobe.
Solely
Adobe
Adobe.
gal. Yep.
sponsor us? What? I didn't say that. You did.
I didn't say that at all, but it's fine. Nobody heard that.
How do you handle pricing? Like, I'm just gonna say, like,
I
right
suck
off
at
front-
it.
Me too.
I suck at it.
thank you for coming to our podcast. It was really nice having you here. So pricing, like I suck at it too because it's a lot of like ballparking and it's a lot of, so do you, when you're talking to a client and then they ask the age-old question, so what do you think a project like this would cost?
Right.
Do you ballpark it? Do you say, I'll get back to you? Or do you write them up a quote? Do you give them it to them on the spot? Do you have priced out deliverables? Do you just give them an hourly rate and call it a day?
I used to do my projects like well, actually, I shouldn't say used to because I still do. There are certain projects that I will do like flat rate because it's just simple and I know that that's exactly what it's going to be every time. But then there's other projects like logos where I could be doing something as simple as like a word mark or a logo mark. And then there's something that could be super intricate that takes a lot of time and detail.
Right.
So I can't say like, yeah, let me charge you X amount for like say if I
Revisions.
made like a Skittles word mark, which is somewhat simple. But if we go into something more detailed, I can't give you the same price for both because I'm spending less time to do something like a word mark versus something that's detailed.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it just depends. I need as much detail as possible, and I know not everyone can give that because sometimes they're not even sure what they want. That's fine. That's what I'm there to help them with. So I just try to get an idea, and I tell them, like, hey, this is how much it'll cost, and this is how much time I will spend on it. But if I need, like, if you need more revisions or more revisions on top of what I already give in the quote, then that's when I start charging extra per revision.
So something that I did with the agency that built my website that I recently had done, they charged me an initial, like they said, this is what it's going to cost to get us like started.
Right.
Then as we went, we started agreeing to other additives and, additions and things that, what we done. And I even got like some random invoice like out of the blue that I was like, that I wasn't expecting, but makes sense. They, they list out all the deliverables and then I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So I went ahead and paid that. Right. And then we also agreed on more deliverables and stuff like that. Do clients in this, and I'm asking purely out of ignorance because I have no idea, do clients that work with designers, graphic designers that are having a logo made, that are having marketing collateral made in this area, are they okay with the idea of like starting a project at like $150 with a notion that it might evolve into a $5,000-$6,000 project, or starting at $50 and evolving into $250 eventually? Is that like something that exists, or do you kind of have to be like, yeah, this graphic will cost you $250 and then $25 per revision or something like that? And again, I don't know the prices, but go ahead.
That's where I try to like give them like, if I'm doing a flat rate project, I tell them like, hey, this is how much time I'm going to spend with it. And then like touching back on the revision side of it, if you need more revisions, it's going to cost you X amount per revision. And I think it's up to them from there to decide from the get-go, is this like, words gone.
No, it's okay because it's a really difficult question, honestly, because the people
I personally have not had anybody say no, personally in my experience, but I am still somewhat new to commissions. I've only had a handful of commissions this year, so I'm still learning, how clients operate.
Gotcha.
Like, do they prefer the flat rate because they know that it's secure and they know that it's not going to go anywhere but there?
Right.
And then I know, like, hey, this is how much time you have. You need to manage it well.
Okay. Gotcha. So at this point, with how long you've been designing, I would imagine you have a fairly decent idea of how long it takes you to design something or take something or create something after you've conceptualized it in your head?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So then at that point, because you kept on throwing out like how long it's going to take you, you're kind of pricing out by the hour as a flat rate, not as an hourly rate. You're not saying I'm going to do, at what would a standard hourly rate be for what you do ish roughly?
Like 20.
20 to 30.
20-ish an hour. But that's like, I'm still trying to figure out my pricing too. So I was like, you know what, let me start with 20, see where that gets me, because that's still like what I'm like, that's more than what I make at my hourly job. So
right.
It's like,
so like
how, like, I'm just now discovering like, what do I feel like my worth is? I look at a project, I'm like, all right, I've spent 5 hours on this and I charge them this amount, which equates to this much per hour.
Yeah.
Am I happy with that?
I don't even like, yes,
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. As far as like being happy with the hourly rate, a lot of times I don't even boil it down to like the amount of hours. I purely boil it down to two different factors. How valuable is the skill to the person that needs it?
Yes.
And second, not at all to say that I price gouge,
Right.
like at all, because that's a very easy place that people could have taken that.
Yeah.
Not to say that I price gouge, but to say that like I spent a lot of time learning
Yeah.
about what I do. I spent a lot of time, experimenting and growing and purchasing equipment and stuff like that. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into learning everything, and a lot of financial funds that go into purchasing all the tools needed to do what we do. I'm gonna cry. But
there's a lot that
like,
goes into it. Pricing is hard.
That
was like the
pricing
number
is
one
so
thing
difficult.
that myself and my classmates would ask in college to our professors. Like every single class that we had, every single semester, there's always one person that was like, I have a question. What should I charge? And my teacher was like, well, just charge what you think you should charge. And we're like,
bro, you can't. You see, the problem is like that's the
Like,
answer
just-
that they
just
would
give me a
give.
ballpark.
But like,
but it's so
they
true.
can't even give you
because,
a
like-
rate because everybody's different. There's
Yes.
another graphic designer that I could go to, and they're like, "Yeah, my standing rate's $120 an hour," and then
Yeah.
we go from there. And I'm like, "Go from there? What?"
What?
Like, if,
What? Yeah.
But like, it all determines. I mean, like, if you're good at what you do,
Mm-hmm.
have really good customer service, fast turnaround, and XYZ, all of the above, you are able to charge a lot more than $20 an hour.
Oh, yeah.
To give you an idea, like, my standing rate is the lowest that I'll go is $150 for a 45-minute photo shoot with 15 deliverables. That's like an hour and a half of my life, or like 2 hours of my life. And
But it's not just your time too. It's like you said, it's all like the equipment that you have
Exactly.
to do. It's like the wear and
But
tear
that's
on your
why-
equipment and maintaining it and your transportation and your gas and the wear and tear on your car because like you said, all of your work is travel based.
But that's why
There's a
I'm
lot that goes into
able
it.
to be comfortable charging a rate that equivalates to about $70 an hour.
Yeah.
Ish, roughly.
Ish.
70, between $50 to $100 an hour, depending on like the scale of the job. Bro, I had one job once, and I was like, yeah, if they accept the price, whatever. Went. I threw out like $600 for like an event. And it was like 4 hours, and I was like, or like 4 or 5 hours of my time, and I was like, nah, whatever. I'll just throw it out there if they
Right.
accept it, whatever. And they said yes, and I was like, huh?
What?
I was like, no way. So we did that, but like, you also have to understand, like, you've put a lot of time into learning like what you do and doing
I'm
it
also
well.
not good at pricing. Like even when I would do photography, I would always charge on the low end because I wanted to be that affordable photographer because I know that
100%.
I mean, even like going back into Storybook Studios, this is actually how Che and I met. We both work for Storybook Studios and we're both photographers for
Yep.
Storybook Studios.
A single photography agency based around doing preschool and like VPK photography
Yes.
at schools with little children. It's fantastic.
It's so much
Continue.
fun. So anyways,
It's interesting. Lots of stories.
Lots of stories.
I make kids cry very regularly because of my face, not because I do anything. Continue. Please, I'm sorry.
I forgot what I was talking about now. 'Cause
So going back into Storybook Studios.
So that's
pricing.
something that Lauren told me that she likes to like when she makes her prices for the photos is that she wanted her photos be like she wanted to have families that were never able to afford nice photos like this be able to afford them. And that's kind of something that I wanted to be able to do
Yep.
too was just to be able to like cater to those people who they just can't afford it. And it's not that like I don't know. It's just
No, it makes sense. Being able to be the person that small businesses,
Right.
people, influencers, whatever, can go to when they're on the startup
Yeah.
end, like you and I both are.
right. So I would always charge significantly less, but that's just I was content with what I did and I was content with what I charged. So I was just like, why should I change?
Right, 100%. I would say, like, just throwing it out there, like, for the stuff that you do, because you do good work. I'm wearing it right now.
Thank you.
It like you could set your base prices at however much time you would spend, like stick around that 20 to 30 an hour kind
Yeah.
of thing, and then set like your one-off base prices. So like when you price somebody out, like, yeah, it's going to be, I mean, like how much time on average do you spend like on a project ish?
So
So like for a
Diving into
for
that-
a minimal, like I guess that's another question I could ask is like, what's your process for like figuring out how long something is going to take you?
So I've been doing better recently because I've been having more commissions come my way, so I can really see on average what time it takes me. So with that being said, when somebody brings forth the ideas that they need, I can assess how much time it's going to take about. Like obviously,
give me low end, high end.
As far as hours?
Yeah.
I did a logo about 2 months ago, and I spent months on it, but it was like I sat on it different.
Sure, of course.
Like, of course, throughout various different days, because at the time I was working full time for Publix, and I was also in season with Storybook. So I was working
I felt
over
that.
50 hours a week, and then I'd get home and then I would go and design. So it's like I always felt like I was on the clock, except for when I was sleeping.
Right, exactly.
So
how many hours did you clock in on that one?
On that logo project,
Yep.
A lot. But that was because I was learning what my style was, and all these, like, I did a lot of learning with that project, and I really stepped out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
So I took time to figure out how exactly I wanted to execute it and what tools and what kind of process I could take.
So that was a big
with it.
learning project for you.
It was
so
a big
it was a
learning
lot of
project.
time actually experimenting and stuff. So
I
take away a
shouldn't
little
say
bit of the
that-
time from the final hours.
I honestly can't even put a number on it.
Just like ballpark it, not even.
Like, more than 10, for sure.
Jesus.
10 to 20 hours.
10 to 20 hours. Wow. Let's call it like
15.
Let's call it 15.
We'll call it 15.
We'll call it 15. So 15 is like your high end. And then have you ever like gotten a project and busted out in like 2 hours and they were happy and said, okay.
Yes. I actually am in the middle of a project right now where my client is very, I trust you. Like, I ask him like, hey, which one of these do you prefer?
I love those people.
I know.
They're like, I trust you. I'm like, bet. Like,
yes. It just makes us feel good because it's just like, it's kind of what we do.
Exactly.
They kind of let us do what we want to do, and it's really nice because we can take whatever direction we want with it, and they're happy with it because that's just what we're producing. Not to say that if you want something specific, I'm unhappy with you, because that's not
Sure.
the case. You know, I understand that sometimes you want something specific, and you have a certain way you want it done, and you have an image in your head on how you want it
sometimes
done.
that makes it way easier.
Yes.
I actually love that too.
I appreciate that very much.
The heavy spectrum.
Yes.
It's really difficult when somebody's
Yes.
like right in the middle and is like, I kind of like this, but
no.
You do whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I like this detail. And then you send it to them and they're like, could we change this, and this? And I'm like, but you said you didn't really know. But it's okay. Anyway, continue.
So, oh shoot. Blank again.
I don't even know where you were either. That's crazy. That's wild. Anyway.
In my defense, I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning, and it is now almost 6 o'clock in the evening.
I was
so
up
I'm
until
like,
about 3:30. Yeah, I feel that. I woke up. Yeah, it's a lot.
So forgive me.
Yeah, we're just here. We're just chilling.
We're straight chilling.
But
we were talking about
man.
logos, hours.
Hours, pricing, and
I remember.
Yep.
I remember. So
go ahead.
I have a client who is very just do your own thing. Like, just I've sent him various different variations of the project that we're working on. It's a t-shirt design.
Gotcha.
So I've sent him various different designs of where we could go with the t-shirt, and he was like, you know what, pick whichever one you like of the three. I'm fine with any three of them. Like, he didn't say like, I don't like this one, so pick any of the two. He was like, just pick whichever one you want. So he's made it very easy for me, so I can knock it out fast because I'm doing.
Right, we were talking about you getting stuff done, time efficiency.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So I think with this one,
That's really good.
Put in. I would say we're almost done with the project. Like, we're in like the final revision stages. So I would say I've spent like maybe 2-3 hours on this project.
Gotcha.
From sketch to where I'm at now.
Right. So at the hourly that we talked about at that 20 to 30 range, you're working from anywhere between $50 to $200 a project.
Correct.
Ish.
Correct.
So then at that rate, you could set your base project. Say someone comes to you and they're like, yo, we want this done. And you're like, all right, we'll start it at $80 and then go from there. Or we'll start it at, $120 and go from there.
I've seen a lot of people where they start like a flat rate and they're like, all right, this includes up to like X amount of hours.
That's what I was about to say. Like, y'all going to do too many hours of work.
Every additional hour is.
Get another revision. And then if you want to, and we have to go further than that, the hourly rate beyond that is like $45. And then like start from there.
Wanted to do that, but I'm scared that I'm going to scare people away because I can understand that, like, from a client's view, how can you trust that, like, your graphic designer isn't going to take advantage of your money and their time. No,
How
take
many-
advantage of your money by saying or like actually doing more time than they quoted, and then you're out. Like,
How many people come to you and then say no right now versus how many people? What's your ratio? What's your yes to no ratio?
they usually don't tell me though. They just ghost me.
So you, oh, okay.
Yikes.
What's your
Yes to ghost ratio.
What's your lead to hire ratio?
I would say I do sign on. Most of my, I would say 3 out of 4 people I board.
It's like 9 out of 10 dentists would recommend. No, I gotcha. So 3 out of 4 people, that's not a bad rate at all. But if you could even,
like I said, I've only had a handful of commissions,
Right,
so
right.
it's like I don't have a ton of people to base off of. So it sounds like really good, but in my defense, I haven't had a lot of experience with bringing these people on.
So keep going a little bit, build up.
I'm sure the average
portfolio a
will
little bit
change as the
more.
years go on.
Bring up your prices a little bit
Yes.
as you continue to work with more people, get
Right.
better, stuff like that. Yeah, I got you.
Wait,
What?
I just saw something and I need to address this.
What is it? Is it the pillow? It's a sequin pillow. It's a sequin pillow. Yep. There is a sequin pillow. For those of you watching, I'm so sorry. For those of you listening, it's a face, and if it's a sequin pillow of a face, and it's fantastic. He's going to join us for the podcast for the last moment. It's
I'm still not sure about that.
Siri.
I'm not either.
Siri said, "What's up?"
I'm sure I understand.
Hey,
My watch.
shut up, frickin' Siri. Imagine having an Apple. Sorry, I don't like Apple.
Could you imagine? So if you're watching, the sequins are red on one side and then it's the face on the other side. Could you imagine like having the sequin pillow in your house, and then your friends come over and you're just like, boom, it's my
Boom!
face.
It's my face. I don't even think this is I think he just found this pillow. I don't even know where he got it. I don't think it's custom. I think he just like found it and was like, yo, I want this.
Oh, there's no tag on it.
Anyway,
I appreciate
this was
that.
solid.
Very much so.
This is a fantastic session covering everything from graphic design to crying to Teslas to design to crying to the pillows to Skittles to crying.
To the
It
mirror
was
in the bathroom.
fantastic. To the mirror in the bathroom. Yup, that was fantastic. This was fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on. That was a lot of
Thank you for having
fun.
me. Thank you
Yeah.
for making my first podcast ever.
100%. Thank you
Sorry
for
if
coming
I'm
on
like-
my first set of podcast episodes ever. This was great.
Now
It's
I
fantastic.
know.
No, I definitely want to. I want to do another session that's like way more like once you've been in your job for a while.
Right.
Once you've done a lot more commissions and get really really freaking
I
good
just
at
want to
it.
be able to provide more information because there's a lot of uncertainty right now.
Oh, 100%. But like a follow-up session that really dives deep
Yeah.
into those, so that the people that really just want to hear about the design and the graphics and stuff like that
And this can also go out to anyone who's also starting out and they're trying to figure out like, what the heck do I do?
That's exactly what I was going to
Because
say.
that's
What do you have? What words do you have for people that are just now getting into wanting to have an interest in or are currently working doing what you do and want to go further? What do you have to say to those
There's
people?
a quote that I live by. I'm trying to remember the exact quote, and it's nothing changes if nothing changes. So my thing was that I wanted to have a awesome graphic design career and I really wanted it to take off, but I knew that if nothing changed with what I was doing currently, nothing in my life was going to change as far as taking off my graphic design career. I needed to put out more work and I wanted to just do more than I was doing.
Right.
Because I wasn't getting any graphic design experience, and it just kind of hit me earlier this year, and I did a lot of self-reflecting, and I was like, what am I doing? Not that where I was bad by any means, because I was still in a good spot with my job and my life,
Right.
and I was very content with what I was doing, and I was successful at what I was doing, but I was thinking more about the graphic design aspect, like,
Sure.
what am I doing? So then I figured out what I was going to do, and that was to make my Instagram more than it was and
Nice.
build my portfolio more so I could have a broad amount of work. Not broad. Is it broad? Again, vocabulary.
A broad amount of work.
Yeah, a broad
a lot
amount of work.
a plethora of projects coming in.
Yes, big words.
Yep.
So I wanted to have more work in my portfolio to show that if I was going to apply for a graphic design job, I could at least have something, because on my resume, it might not say that I have experience with the company, but I have freelance experience. I
Right.
wanted to show them that I have
It's
a lot
tough.
of different kinds of styles of work. So whatever it is
Right.
that they need from me, I can do it.
Sure. So then words of wisdom for people that are looking to do what you do or are currently doing what you do but want to go further.
Right.
What would you tell those people? Straight up and direct.
Just do it.
Change your life.
Just
go
do it.
for it.
That sounds very cliche and like very like Nike quote, like don't come after me, Nike. I'm not trying to steal your copyright or anything, but just do it. Like I did a lot of research on like how the graphic designers that are my inspirations got to where they were, and they were doing the same things, like putting out more work and like going to various marketing events to speak with more people or
Sure.
just really like get more connections, because a lot of the things too, it's not like as far as not getting in the industry, but certain parts of the industry, it's not about what you know, but it's about who you know.
Oh, 100%.
So
People that talk about you.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
So meet people, put your work out, put some more time into it, learn, do a lot of learning. That's what I was doing. I was doing a lot of learning so I could make my portfolio better than what it was.
Free work.
Free work.
Free work too.
Free work is
After our rant that we went on earlier, saying not to do
See,
free work. Do free work, damn it.
It's different when somebody reaches out to you for free work versus when you reach out to somebody else for free work.
DM every single person that you know and ask if you can make them something.
Yes.
Because that'll do two things. One, it'll build your portfolio. Well, that'll do a lot more than just two things. But these two
A
things I'm
lot
going to say.
more.
You're going to build your portfolio. You're going to get some good context. People are going to all of a sudden have something that they can show.
Yes.
Their audience is going to see it, whether it's 2 people or 2,000, whatever that might be. Now, all of a sudden, you have people talking about you. Then what you also have is 5, 2, 30, 100 people that you've now made stuff for that
Right.
can now leave you a positive review in
Yes.
some fashion that you can display on any type of website
And from that
asset.
experience, you can learn where you want to go with that. Like, oh, like I spent a lot of time on this project, so I know I can charge this amount, or I don't think I should have done this, so I can, you learn
Right.
a lot with projects. So with the beer label project, I actually asked her if I could do it for free, and she refused. She said, no,
I've done that before.
Do not sell your brain for free. And I
Yep.
was like, but I've never done this before. So it's like, I don't want to charge you if I've never done anything before, because it just makes me
Right.
feel kind of guilty. So I'm getting paid
Yeah.
in beer.
Service for product is actually another big thing.
Yes.
Like, do that too.
Sick.
That was such a rambling. That was such a rambling exit. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that episode of Not Another Podcast. Just like I said in the beginning, I would greatly appreciate it if you would go write us a review, follow the podcast so you never miss another episode, and share this with one friend who might find value in what I or a guest said during the show. Rob Dial always says, make it your mission to make somebody else's day better. And that quote, ever since I started listening to his podcast, has really changed my thinking as far as how I go about my daily life. So, with that being said, I'm going to leave you the way that Rob Dial leaves you every single episode. Make it your mission to make somebody else's day better, and I hope that you guys have an amazing day.